Yarok the Desecrated versus Golos Tireless Pilgrim. We're going to keep that and hope that keeping an opening hand with Cabal Coffers doesn't punish us too much. We've got Ramping Growth Spiral, and then we've got Nature's Law as well. Oh, Ancient Tomb is actually a really good draw, so let's get down the forest and pass over to our opponent. And speaking of opponents, I can't remember, but this might be the player that hammered us with Golos in 1 versus 1 last time. I can't quite remember, but that might be the case. Sky Shroud Claim we can go for next turn, so let's go for Nature's Law in for a black mana. And then next turn we can drop the Ancient Tomb and go in for Sky Shroud Claim. If we draw into another mana, we might be able to go for Growth Spiral. Azusa coming down and getting our opponent into a couple more lands, one of which is a Mosswarp Bridge. So when they've got enough power on the board, they'll be able to cheat something out with that. We draw into Krosan Grip, which we don't particularly care for just yet. Oh, and Sky Shroud Claim brings the lands in on tap, doesn't it? So in that case, we can definitely get down the Growth Spiral. We'll do that on our opponent's turn, though. Yeah, we've got some instant speed stuff in hand, so we'll just wait for the Growth Spiral. A Kiora, Behemoth Beckoner, coming down for our opponent. We're not going to counter anything here, so let's just grab ourselves a Growth Spiral. Alright, we've got a Swamp, so that begins to make Cabal Coffers relevant. We'll put that into play, seeing as how we're cheating a land drop anyway. And then untapping the Bounce Land, which generates 2 mana, so they can go in for Golos here. And they get themselves into a Bounce Land, so we're going to struggle keeping Golos out of play this game, I imagine. Bounce Lands with Azusa is really good because there's no downside to them, effectively. Let's drop our land, and then we can tap Cabal Coffers, that's 3 mana. Yeah, we can go for Damnation and then go in for Yarok after that. So we'll probably... I imagine we're definitely going to see Golos this turn, actually. Our opponent's got 4 cards in hand. Okay, Sigarda, Host of Herons. Should have waited on that Damnation, perhaps. But we've got Death Touch at least. Our opponent doesn't have First Strike on that Sigarda, so we can still swing in at Kiora. But they get into Candelabra of Taunos as well, so untapping a couple of bounce lands there, really making use of those things. Following it up with a Wakestone Gargoyle. Can't say I've ever seen this before. Creatures you control with Defender can attack as though they didn't. Yeah, we don't really care about that. Alright, let's see if our opponent wants to trade their Sigarda, because we're going to swing in at Kiora here. They decide not to, so we'll go up 3 life. And then we'll go in for Regal Force. How much mana do we have there? That is 5, 6, 7. So we've tapped too much. Let's just go like that. We'll get Regal Force down. This should draw us 4 cards. Okay, getting into our ramp a little bit too late now. And no lands to make use of the exploration with. Ugh, that's pretty bad. I was really hoping for another land there so that we could hold up Krosan Grip and or Beast Within. So we'll just go for the Search for House counter in that case. Down comes Golos again. And they've got... yeah, they can still untap some stuff with the Candelabra. They've got 2 mana available, so they can generate 4 mana by untapping bounce lands. but going for an activation on the Mosswort Bridge into a Sunbird's Invocation, this just looks like WooBerg good stuff. And then, of course, a Gaia's Cradle coming down for our opponent, so they can generate 3 mana there. Untap a bunch of lands with the Candelabra of Taunos, and that's exactly why I wanted to get into a land for the Krosan Grip. I wanted to have this thing destroyed by the time our opponent's turn rolls back around. Oh, Prime Speaker Vannifar, luckily with Summoning Sickness. But we don't want to see Prime Speaker Vannifar hit the field. They've now got 4 mana available to them with the Gaia's Cradle, swinging in with Sigarda. And we're just hoping for some actual ETB effects here. Mana Crypt we will definitely put into the graveyard. We don't care about Mana Crypt. Alright, Risen Reef, that can get some stuff going. Let's drop the Amulet of Vigour first off. And then any lands that Risen Reef brings in, it will bring in untapped. Or they will untap when they come in. To be more specific. 2 triggers on the Risen Reef. A Polluted Delta we will play, and it will untap twice thanks to the Yarok. We can't tap that for mana, so we can't make use of the fact that it untaps twice. And then a Command Beacon which will tap for mana, so we'll let it untap once and then tap it for mana and wait for the other Amulet of Vigour to resolve, and we go up a mana there. Don't know how useful it's going to be. Let's jump in for a Wood Elves as well, because that effectively only costs 1 mana. Get a Tropical Island. And just a bog standard basic. Then we are looking to swing in with both of our things at the Kiora, I think. I don't think they're going to block here. I think they'll just let her go. Yeah, and as I thought, they are not going to block there. So let's go in for... We'll get a black mana out again first, so that the Cabal Coffers taps for more mana. Underground Sea coming in, and we'll tap the Cabal Coffers for 4 mana. Then it's Cultivate, and this will bring in an untapped land. I've only got 1 more basic in the deck after this. The Amulet of Vigour will untap that twice again, so we'll generate mana. I don't think we're going to make use of it, but we'll do it anyway, just for good practice. Then play the island, and let's go for Krosan Grip onto the Candelabra or the Sunbird's Invocation. That's tricky. Maybe them generating a bunch of mana isn't the worst thing if the Golos is out of play. But they can just easily recast Golos again. We're in a tricky spot here. Maybe we just hope for a board wipe. Yeah, they've only got 1 card in hand, so we'll just have to hope that they don't make use of the Sunbird's Invocation too well. And then during their turn, we will cast the Beast Within. Might as well get down Exploration. Yeah, during their turn we're going to get rid of that Gaia's Cradle. Do this during the upkeep so that they can't generate mana in response, and they get a Summoning Sick Beast that they cannot swing in with. Deciding to tap some mana anyway, so they might be going for a Golos activation during their upkeep here. And then deciding to just let the Gaia's Cradle go. Now we are officially in top deck mode. I think they're missing black. Yeah, the only black and red source they've got is this command tower. Yeah, I don't think they can add that through any other means. So unless they get a red or a black source down, they can't actually activate Golos. Oh, they just made... Oh, forgive me, yeah, they can make red mana with Nykthos because of the Sunbird's Invocation, so scratch that. Our opponent can, in fact, make WooBerg here. Luckily, they don't get into much. A Scavenging Ooze and an Elixir of Immortality we don't care about. They must have already played a land because they haven't gone for the Reflecting Pool. Then sacrificing the Gargoyle So they can go for a 5-drop here with the Prime Speaker Vanifar. Oh, and they're going for Prophet of Kruphix. They can cast creature spells as though they had flash. So they'll be able to cast creature spells with Golos, but nothing else during our turn. They decided to exile our Krosan Grip quickly with the Scavenging Ooze as well. We're just going to take the hit here. And then what have we got on top? A Fierce Empath. Can we grab something with Fierce Empath? I think it's 6 CMC or greater, yeah. I mean, we could go for Primeval Titan. I know if I get rid of that, we're just going to draw into a land, so we will... Yeah, we'll take the card advantage with Search for Azcanta as well. Or actually, no. We won't transform it. I'd rather have the card filtering because this thing doesn't get us into creatures. Azcanta the Sunken Ruin. So let's just go for the Fierce Empath first of all. Oh, and we'll be able to grab a couple of creatures, won't we? Oh, unless they have Counterspell. Okay, going for Scavenging Ooze on more stuff. Yeah, like I said, we don't mind Scavenging Ooze. I think we do have Eternal Witness in the deck, but not reliant on it. Getting rid of our Damnation and our Mana Crypt. They got rid of Beast Within and Krosan Grip. And they're just deciding to leave it there for now. We get 2 triggers here with Fierce Empath. Alright, we'll go for... Can we go for Primetime and Avenger of Zendikar? That is 6, 11... That's 13 mana, isn't it? I think we've got enough for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, and then tap Cabal Coffers. Yeah, we've got enough for that. So let's go Avenger. Primeval Titan for the landfall. Then we'll tap down Cabal Coffers for 5. 6, 7 for Avenger. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we've got enough here. Obviously getting down the Avenger first because it has landfall, and Primeval Titan will trigger landfall. Oh, and I completely forgot Risen Reef sees elementals, and the Avenger of Zendikar is an elemental. So we'll get down our multiple plant tokens first, because that triggers twice as well. Then Risen Reef will see some lands potentially. That is an Oracle of Muldiah, that will go into our hand. And then a Bloodghast will go into our hand as well. We don't necessarily care about that. Let's just get this Primetime out of the way. And then this will bring in untapped lands actually, thanks to the Amulet of Vigour. I think they're aiming for a counterspell here. They might get one off of Golos. Nope, just activating the Gavany Township. And then cracking the Elixir of Immortality to gain 5 life and shuffle. We don't have haste, so we really need to make it to next turn. And then with the floating mana going after the Growth Spiral. Now it's 4 lands in with Primeval Titan. I think because I'm scared of everything that my opponent's doing, we have to go for some Wasteland activations here. Let's get Gaia's Cradle first. And the Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth. Oh, and then we can generate a bunch of mana off of these thanks to Amulet of Vigour. Let's just get the Avenger triggers on the stack first. Untap the Gaia's Cradle. We'll tap it in response. Then it untaps again. We'll tap it. Oh, we don't need to tap it again, do we? We'll just keep it untapped. And the Urborg taps, and before it untaps again, we'll tap it down for mana. And then Avenger of Zendikar, always yes and yield. And then we're going in for some more lands. Oh, I forgot all about Field of the Dead, actually. We don't necessarily need that now that I think about it, but... yeah, I think it's actually worth going for Wasteland to try and keep our opponent off of activating Golos, because they've got the Prophet of Kruphix in play. So we'll go for Wasteland and the Vesuva. No, I think we're okay with Tech Edge, actually. Yeah, we'll grab Tech Edge. And it's the same again. Get a bunch of counters on Avenger, and hopefully we can swing in with those for lethal next turn. The Tectonic Edge untaps. We'll just tap it for mana for good practice. And then it untaps. And same again with the Wasteland. Then we are on for a Tech Edge onto the Command Tower with our plentiful mana. And then they've got access to plenty of blue, green and white, really. If we take them off Nykthos, then they can't get red. So we're taking them off 2 colours there. Only doing this because of my opponent's incredible board state. They've got some really good stuff in Vannifar and, well, everything else. Let's get down the Bloodghast. Play the Oracle of Muldiah as well. And we've got another land on top, so might as well play that out. And then we've got Scape Shift, so that's potentially another win condition next turn. Let's just pass over. We'll let the 32 floating mana go. And going to swing in with Yarok because it'll gain us some life. Don't care if our opponent kills off Yarok. We go up to 14 and finally passing it over to our opponent. Big props to them for playing all of that out. They were just watching us play for the most part there. 2 cards in hand, one of which has been in there for a while, I think. They've still got Prime Speaker Vannifar to do something with. Okay, Ugin the Spirit Dragon. I don't think we can do anything about Ugin. So we're just a turn too late here. We were always swimming against the tide with our opponent. They cascade into Vivian Nature's Avenger with the Sunbird's Invocation. But clearly the reason our opponent was playing it out is because they had the Ugin, which will definitely solve all their problems here. I think they will entirely wipe our board, apart from the Amulet of Vigour. Sacrificing the Golos to Prime Speaker Vannifar. And they get into their own Primeval Titan. Oh, now, yeah, I was just wondering why our opponent didn't wipe the board there, but this, of course, wipes all coloured permanents off the board with CMC less than X, so they'd get rid of some of their own creatures as well. So I'd be curious to see what my opponent goes in for here. Then it's plus counters onto Sigarda. Then exiling everything with CMC 1 or less. That gets rid of Exploration and all of our tokens. And I think that's it. Yeah, it doesn't get rid of any of our opponent's stuff. They could just minus down for 0 if they just wanted rid of the tokens. And then going for more Scavenging Ooze effects to continue to get rid of our graveyard. Probably a good idea because we can play lands out of the graveyard. Taking us off of everything in our graveyard apart from a polluted Delta. Now let's see if they want to swing in. Yeah, they've got a 9/9 Sigarda, they might as well. We don't have any flyers to chump block with. Now, can we do something here? If we go in for Scape Shift, we could grab ourselves a Dark Depths. Yeah, let's not put Scape Shift into the graveyard. We can play how many lands this turn? A couple, thanks to Oracle of Muldiah. Alright, let's swing in first and try and get rid of that Ugin. We really want to get rid of Ugin here because if we're going for the Dark Depths combo, then they can minus that down for X, and I think it exiles, doesn't it? Yes, so they can minus it down for 0, I should say, and that will get rid of our Marit Lage token. So we definitely want rid of our opponent's Ugin here. We'll go Field of the Dead and Thespian Stage. This is just to get a bunch of blockers in the way. Avenger of Zendikar triggers a bunch of times. It doesn't matter now because our plants have gone. Then Field of the Dead triggers as well, twice per land entering. And then we've got a Tooth and Nail on top, which I don't think we can draw into, unfortunately. So we'll get a bunch of zombies there. Always yes and yield to Avenger. And then we'll see what our opponent does here. Like I said, we really want rid of Ugin. I think we can get through. Alright, going for Atla Polania, instant speed, thanks to that Prophet of Krufix. And they managed to get into Ajani, the Great-Hearted, with the Sunbird's Invocation. And then casting Golos at instant speed. Noteworthy that they've gotten into red mana again in another bounce land. But they're still struggling on black, I think. But they can search for black when Golos comes into play here. Oh no, they're not struggling for black at all because of our Urborg. Yeah, I completely forgot about our own Urborg. So they went for Vault of the Archangel there. Yeah, so they actually have all of their colours thanks to that Gruul Turf. Trying to get as many blockers in the way as possible here. They'll get rid of our Primeval Titan. Now, while our opponent's deciding how to block here, there was an interaction that I thought about quickly, but I didn't want to mess it up. Because we untap our lands twice, Thespian Stage would have untapped twice. With the first untap, we could have made it a copy of Field of the Dead. I was actually thinking about Gaia's Cradle and then decided we didn't need that much mana. In hindsight, should have made it a copy of Field of the Dead, and then it would have untapped as a copy of Field of the Dead with the Thespian Stage ability. And then by the time we're ready to make this a copy of the Dark Depths, we can turn it into Dark Depths because it's untapped and do that whole combo. But in the meantime, Thespian Stage would have been a Field of the Dead, getting us even more zombies. So that might have been what I should have done there. Don't think it's going to matter because Scapeshift is going to get a lot of landfall on the go. Our opponent is really trying to work out how much damage they can allow through here. I haven't actually worked it out myself because I was trying to rush through the turn as quickly as I could. If they block, what do they not care about? Maybe they don't care about Scavenging Ooze. Block the Avenger. That can block, I don't know, the Oracle. That can block the Blood Crypt. So that would leave 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 11 points coming through. Golos maybe blocks the Regal Force and dies so they can recast it. So that would be 1, 2, 3, and 6 damage coming through at Ugin. Yeah, I don't think we can actually kill off Ugin here, assuming that they block everything. So that is 1, 2... No, it's not. It is 1 and 4 damage going in at the Ugin. And then we'll have a bunch of stuff die here. Don't think we're getting rid of any of our opponent's things, apart from their Golos, which they don't necessarily mind. Now, I don't think I have a Glacial Chasm in this deck, as I should. Let's find out with this Scapeshift. Yeah, we'll get rid of a bunch of lands here. Oh, I should have tapped them for mana, shouldn't we? Oh well. Let's get rid of Ancient Tomb, Command Beacon. Really don't see us winning this one, but we'll play it out anyway, just in case. How many lands is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just go for a 6th land. And because we couldn't get rid of Ugin, they can minus down and get rid of the Marit Lage token. But we'll see if we can get into anything here. Really could do with a Glacial Chasm. We'll grab a Waterlogged Grove, a Dryad Arbor, Nurturing Peatland, the Dark Depths. There's 2 more. Oh, Vesuva we'll take. And just grab the Scavenger Grounds as well. The Vesuva can come down as a copy of the Thespian Stage. I think our opponent's got us thanks to that Sigarda next turn. Oh wow, that's a bunch of Field of the Dead triggers. Bloodghast will come back into play for what it's worth. Now then, can we... Oh, I think we've got... Oh no, we don't have the Entwine spell on top anymore, do we? Because we've shuffled. So let's sacrifice this and draw a card. Zendikar Resurgent. Potential card draw, maybe. Skull Clamp with Bloodghast. Oh, that is a real shame that it's coming down now. Well, we've got some activations with it at least. We'll try. We'll go for Bloodghast first of all. Getting into a land and more mana doublers. Might be an idea to get one of these mana doublers down, actually. So we'll go and tap that and that for Cabal Coffers. Then into the Zendikar Resurgent, because that's potential card draw. And thanks to the fetch, we've actually got a couple more Skull Clamp triggers with the Bloodghast. Our opponent doesn't have any green mana held up. Let's just go after the Dryad Arbor first. Actually, no we won't. We'll go after the Wood Elf, seeing as how it's tapped. Tatyova is card draw and life gain, which might be of some use to us. So we will get her down. And that will draw us a card, thanks to Zendikar Resurgent, not Avenger of Zendikar. Wayward Swordtooth is another land drop for the turn. Now we can't grab Obnixilis with this, can we? Search for a green creature. That's a shame. I don't think there's anything we can grab with Eternal Witness either. Fierce Empath can't grab that creature we need. Yeah, okay, let's just play the Marsh Flats. Get a bunch more Field of the Dead triggers. Really scrambling for an answer here. We'll get some card draw. And some life gain. Bane of Progress we don't really care about. We will bring the Bloodghast back. Then we'll clamp the Bloodghast again. Maybe if we have a haste enabler we could get into Lightning Greaves maybe? Oh no, but we've gone past our combat phase, haven't we? So that won't help us either. Really don't see what we can get here. Toxic Deluge. If we gain enough life, we can wipe the board. We'll need 9. That is actually a potential out for us. So in that case, let's play the Wayward Swordtooth so we can make another land. And I don't know if we've got one more basic in the deck. Sakura Tribelder and Solemn can get us into another land if we've got a basic left. Let's just try and get into a land with Sakura Tribelder. That'll draw us a card as well. Sacrifice that and see if we've got one basic left. Yes, we've got one basic left, and it's a forest as well. That will get a bunch more triggers on the go. We might be able to claw something back here if we're lucky. Huge props to our opponent for playing this out, because this has been a huge solitaire match. We untap our forest, tap it in response, and then untap it again. Say yes to Bloodghast. Draw with Tatyova. Oh, there's an Assassin's Trophy as well. Oh, Assassin's Trophy is really good. I think I might actually just dump that onto Ugin right now. And that means that we're online for the Dark Depths combo now, because Ugin can't exile our tokens anymore. So do we actually need to wipe the board is the question. We'll go Ravenous Chupacabra. I'm just really playing it safe here. I don't actually know which creature I want to blow up with that. Draw into Crucible. Oh, we get 2 creatures. Okay, that's Prophet of Kruphix. And Prime Speaker Vannifar, I think. Yeah, who knows what our opponent's got in the deck that they can get straight into play, so definitely don't want to see those in play. Then we'll go in for the Rex Sage on Sunbird's Invocation as well. And draw into Reliquary Tower. We'll just aim both of these at the Invocation. And then we've got Reliquary Tower to play if we've got too many cards in hand. Oh, my heart is racing here. I don't know if we've got everything we need. I think we do. You know what? If we don't have it, then we don't have it. We'll just play that out. Our opponent's been an incredible sport here, so we'll just pass it over to them. Oh, we've got Cyclonic Rift actually, so that kind of seals the deal, doesn't it? Yeah, let's just clamp on a zombie. Yeah, we'll clamp on a zombie and leave it at that because we've got floating mana. A Tree of Redemption. Exchange your life total with Tree of Redemption's toughness. That will have Summoning Sickness, and I don't really see why they'd want to do that anyway. Then put in a load of plus counters onto the Sigarda. That is a 12/12. Can't quite get us in the air, but we're just going to wait for them to tap a load of mana here. And then at the beginning of combat we will riff them. And that should be game, I would have thought. And our opponent gave us a preemptive GG as well, so it's always good to beat an opponent after that. But our opponent has been a good sport there. I actually thought that they had beaten us myself. So it's fair enough that they thought they had the game, but it's not over till it's over, so you shouldn't throw up a good game before the game is actually over. Just have to hope our opponent doesn't have a Glacial Chasm now. Nope, they have a Field of the Dead of their own. And they are completely tapped out, apart from that Vault of the Archangel. So I feel okay going for the Rift here. And that means that all we do is swing in for lethal next turn. We had a blocker for the Sigarda anyway with the Flying Indestructible from, from the Dark Depths. So even without the Rift, I don't think we were going to lose there. And then even if they dealt with the Marit Lage, we could have made another one because we've got 2 Thespian Stages. Although, oh no, we would have only had 1 Dark Depths, wouldn't we? So we'd have to fish that out of the graveyard to make another one. But we can get Ramunap out of our library with the Green Sun Zenith. Our opponent continuing to be a really good sport there. We will put the 3 visits into the bin. And we'll not transform the Search for Azcanta. Nissa Vital Force for even more card draw. Our opponent being an incredible sport, as you are all witnessing, will just swing in with everything. And, oh, that's a real shame. The client just quit immediately. Obviously that was far too much damage for it to calculate. If I remember, during the edit, I will calculate how much damage we were going to get our opponent down by. I just played a game, which I don't know if you've seen already or not, but I was down to, I think, minus 237 from my opponent. So I'd like to see if I beat that, but good game to our opponent. An incredible show of character from them. They were literally sat watching us play for, I think, about probably over 20 minutes there as we scrambled for an answer, and they played it out, and I can't sing their praises highly enough for that. That's a really good Golos deck that they've built, and we really had no business in winning that one. But we just managed to ride Scapeshift into victory there. And also the lands that tap and sacrifice themselves for card draw. Yeah, they really got us back in the game. So hopefully you all enjoyed that. Yarok the Desecrated game against Golos Tireless Pilgrim. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.